Did you know this Flash game can play on your Nintendo Wii? Oh, and so can this one. And this one. Heck, even this one. As a matter of fact, lots of different Flash content can run on your Wii, and you can play them off Wii channels too. Now I know what you're thinking, how is this possible? I'm Zodiac Galaxy, and I will guide you on how to get Adobe Flash content into WiiWare, along with explaining how it works. Now, for those who are new to this, the Wii Splash Player is a software component which is only available from specific Wii channels. The most recognizable one was the Internet channel. The Flash Player used for the channel was Flashlight 3.1, which was mixed with Adobe Flash Player 8 and 9. The YouTube channel, BBC iPlayer channel, Kirby TV channel, and 2 WiiWare games, Fluidity and Back to Nature, also came with this built-in Flash support, mainly for channel navigation and playback for Flash videos, games, or animations. These channels were able to play their Flash content because of their built-in Flash applet. This allows a single SWF file or multi-file Flash projects to be interpreted. Everything else is handled by configuration data, which include ASCII keyboard to Wii controller conversion, settings for the SWF and WAD file, and screen ratio adjustments. Cool, now you know how it works. So how do we make an injection? After some research, Cam&Van's FriishProduce program is what we'll use to inject SWF files into the Flash placeholder WAD, which is essentially a recycled version of Back to Nature for more proper Flash injections. This all-in-one WAD injector will have a setting to create Virtual Console modifications for a Flash injection, all with a nice GUI interface to be as user-friendly as possible. Ready to get Flash content on your Wii? I know I am! These are all the requirements needed to run FriishProduce, which I got from the official GitHub page. Links to these requirements and videos on how to install them are in the video's description, included with the Flash placeholder WAD. Note that the version of FriishProduce given to you is not available on GitHub. Once you've completed the setup, you just need to find the Flash content you're looking for. SWF files can be found through either the Internet Archive, Blue Maxima's Flashpoint, the Wayback Machine, or through a page inspection. With the Flash Player discontinued, the safe way to read, inspect, or edit SWF files is through a decompiler. A good example is JPEG's Free Flash Decompiler, a free tool that is used to inspect SWF files without using any of Adobe's products. The only requirement you need to install is Java. Using the decompiler can help us improve Flash content to perform efficiently on the Wii, as well as to help with injecting multiple SWF files in our WAD, which is covered later on. However, before assuming we need the decompiler, or even if you want to install it, there are 2 ways we can inspect the SWF file before injecting, either through emulation or with the computer's terminal. For the emulation method, we'll be using the 𝘍𝘭𝘢 Flash demo, a Flash emulator that provides specific information about the SWF file while playing it online. By clicking Select File, look for the SWF file you want to check. I'll use the file for Balloon's Tower Defense 2. Once it starts playing on the demo, click on the Info button near the top right. Here's what we're looking for. SWF files can run on the Wii if its SWF version and Flash version meet 8 or 9, although anywhere lower also works. ActionScript 3 must be stated as false, indicating that the content runs on ActionScript 1 or 2. Using ActionScript 3 SWF files soft locks the Wii since the code isn't supported by the Flash Player. Finally, for our dimensions, the width can go from 608 to 832, and the height must not exceed 456. The width can differ based on your screen's ratio, either 4:3 full screen for 608 or 16:9 widescreen for 832. This tells if the content will fit on the screen properly if you don't want to adjust the display field values. Our second method is to use the SWF Checker Python file, given from the application package. By installing Python onto your computer, you can scan the SWF file's compatibility using the terminal. This works on both the Windows terminal and the Windows subsystem for Linux terminal, which is what I'm using here. After typing the name of the file followed by the .swf extension, it will uncompress the file and state the information similarly to 𝘍𝘭𝘢, along with calculating if the dimensions will overlap or cut the screen when playing it. By comparing both methods, 𝘍𝘭𝘢's emulation allows a quick and easy process and also allows you to screenshot your content. But if you want a more offline approach and let the program decide if your SWF file is injectable, you can use the SWF checker. When everything seems right, the SWF file is ready to be injected. If not, the SWF and Flash version can be adjusted using the JPEGs decompiler when needed. Amazing! You're all prepared. Let's start using FriishProduce. From the top left corner, click on New and then select Adobe Flash WAD. The program now configures itself to prepare for a Flash injection, but to edit the WAD's features, you'll need to import your SWF file, which is from this button over here. In my case, Bloons Tower Defense 2 is the content I'm importing. This will specify the path to where the SWF file is located, and then unlocks all the features you can do with the program. The next step is to get the WAD for the injection, which you can either do by importing the Flash placeholder WAD from your computer, or automatically from the downloadable base WADs in FriishProduce. Note that the Flash placeholder WAD is available in both NTSC and PAL regions, but since they can be region-free and provide the same purpose, it doesn't really matter what you pick. The Software is Multi-File checkbox uses the directory path for your selected file, and then allows any other files or directories within the same path to be part of the injection. I'll leave this untouched for now, as I'll cover this later. In the injection method options, you'll be greeted with some advanced options for the WAD's configuration data. For display, you can change the SWF quality or allow anti-aliasing to achieve a smooth instead of jagged look. For controls, you can enable mouse or keyboard input, and allow MIDI support included with the DLS sound font. For controllers, you are able to configure the keys of your keyboard manually or with the presets to where they go on a Wiimote or classic controller. There's also options for how much you want the content to zoom in or out, the type of save data required for the content or WAD, the domain where the WAD reads the content from, the WAD's background color, and enabling the strat reminder screen. The OK button saves any information you've changed. Below is a button to edit the save data title, which, if you haven't named your channel name yet, will automatically set the title to be the same as your channel name. Speaking of which, I should make Bloons Tower Defense 2 as my channel name. The title can't exceed 20 characters, and if it does, shorten it to a creative acronym. The channel region can be set to your preferred region or become region-free, and you can optionally select the video mode to be NTSC plus PAL 60. Finally, let's finish things off with the banner. By clicking anywhere in the box, you can either change the banner details or the banner sound, which by default sounds like this. I won't change the sound just to keep the traditional feeling of a Virtual Console title, therefore we'll need to click on banner details. From here, you should type the full name of the Flash content you're injecting. If it has a release date, you can either type it in, or use the arrows right here. Bloons Tower Defense 2, an example, was released in 2008. No release date found? Then use the current year to indicate your injection's creation year. You can leave the number of players alone, as most Flash content just requires one player. Multiplayer games aren't considered supportable unless it's turn-based or with clever key mapping. Select Automatic to match the banner region with the channel region, and then click OK to save. The banner picture is the screenshot of your content, which you can take by going into 𝘍𝘭𝘢 and then using the snipping tool to capture a moment from your content. Just save the screenshot and upload the image to the program. You can stretch the image or allow it to fit in the aspect ratio of the banner. You also have the option to change the title ID, which can be typed or with the green randomize button. To export the WAD from FriishProduce, the magic wand icon needs to be lit, which is when all necessary changes to the WAD are able to export it. This will let you find the folder location of where your exported injection can be saved. As for FriishProduce's other options, you can have multiple tabs of different WAD injections, save FriishProduce projects, and load them, and change your preferences for different parts of FriishProduce. Hey, great job! You've learned how to install FriishProduce to make single-file Flash injections and meet the ideal conditions for the Wii. I'm going to test the WADs at this timestamp below, as I'm now going over how I inject multi-file Flash projects. Some games or animations contain multiple SWF files or other project files, as they were built to maintain performance and split information for the project. A multi-file project will always have one main file amongst all other files. What is the main file usually for? Well, if a game wanted to have a file storing character models and then other files for user interface and level design, the main file is what helps load and coordinate each of those files, including multiple of them at once. This can be done with either standard coding or object orientation, given that ActionScript is significantly similar to Java. If we were to inject these projects with FriishProduce, we need to do more than just simply checking off the software's multi-file checkbox. This is to ensure the project gets laid out correctly, and that the Flash applet, the main SWF file, and all other project files can execute properly on the WAD. The first tip is to take note of what is being injected. FriishProduce is able to detect any file or directory associated with the path of your selected SWF file. It is important to not let FriishProduce catch incompatible data or other information from your computer, which can be avoided by putting the entire project into one folder. You should also consider reviewing your project's structure. When you have identified the location of the main file, check if it exists under a parent directory or if there are subdirectories after it. If the project doesn't have directories to begin with, this check can be skipped. The Flash applet won't be able to read the main file unless the content domain is properly referenced. When extracting the injection to view the 𝘗𝑫𝐿𝑃CF file, you can see where the content domain leads to. By default, the URL will always lead to the content folder for menu.swf, and FriishProduce renames the selected file's name to menu to match the URL. This is easily changeable, and the WAD will also read any specific SWF file name from that URL. In this project's example, the main file is in a directory called Mathletics. Between it is a navigation file in the parent directory, and the files for the minigames in a subdirectory. Since I know the main file will read the parent and subdirectories according to the JPEG's decompiler, the URL must include the main file's directory and name. FriishProduce's content domain feature doesn't work in the application, so you'll need to use tools like the Wii CS tools or 𝘫𝘀 to extract and pack the WAD. Finally, we must make sure all files can load properly on the WAD. While FriishProduce and the WAD can achieve the main SWF file for a multi-file project, sometimes projects can vary on how they load their external files. If the main file strictly loads everything in sequential order, each file should be renamed numerically, starting from 0. If they are user selected or randomized, no renaming is required. The WAD is designed to read each file alphabetically from A to Z or numerically from 0, and a sequentially ordered project can't be read properly if the WAD loads the wrong file. By renaming the original files, you must also edit the main file's action script code to let it reference those new file names. Alright, I think that's enough learning from here. Let's go test our Flash WADs. Before installing injections on any Wii platform, make sure you store them on a FAT32 formatted device, like an SD card or a USB hard disk drive. Since Flash WADs contain a built-in Flash player, you don't need an internet connection to play them. The only thing you'll need is a WAD manager, or alternatively, a game backup loader. It is always recommended to have a NAND backup in a scenario where something goes wrong, as I'm not responsible for damages. To install your injections on the Wii or VWii menu, use a WAD manager, preferably yet another WAD manager ModMe edition, to install it there. For USB Loader GX, if your AmiNAND is already set up, go to the miscellaneous setting and then AmiNAND WAD manager. Use the file or folder location to find your WAD, and then once found, click OK and then install. For those who want to use WiiFlow for Flash injections, I'm going to shout out Below Average Gaming for his amazing tutorial in the description. Alright, so these are the WADs that I've installed on my Wii, Bloons Tower Defense 2 and Super Monkey Ball 2 Mini. And we're going to start with Bloons Tower Defense 2. Looks like I got the whole banner situation right, which is amazing. Running quite smooth as well. I did put this WAD in low quality, so that way it can run a little faster. But let's see. Alright. Start round. Things are already looking quite smooth in terms of the rounds. Impressive. Alright. I'm going to give you piercing darts. Everything seems to be running along fine. The balloons are traveling around the path quite easily. And it's working as expected as well, because Bloons Tower Defense is really just a game that you use with your mouse. You don't have, like, your keyboard controls or anything. I don't like the fact that Endgame and More Games are cutting off right here. Probably because of the size of the WAD, but maybe I just need to readjust it later. But the button down there seems to work fine. Same thing with probably the other maps as well, which is cool. Yeah. Looks like Bloons Tower Defense works. Now we have Super Monkey Ball 2 Mini, which is, our first multi-file project I injected onto my Wii here. Banner seems to look good as well. Looks like the menu is quite good around here. And everything seems quite smooth, too. Impressive. Credits are showing up. Let's try Monkey Target. Use the spacebar to open 𝐼𝐼𝐸𝐿𝐼𝐸𝐻𝑍𝑐𝐠 blah 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 blah. We ain't reading all of that. Start! Alright, so the spacebar button works. The keys don't seem to, like, glide like in the original game, where you usually hold onto the controller for it to work. But it seems to be running quite nice, which is very amazing to see. Alright, and drop. Oh, come on. That was so close. I think that was in the center. Can we go back to the main menu? Oh, awesome. Okay, now let's try Monkey Baseball. Dang it. First base, come on.
First base hit.
Awesome. There we go.
Strike! Strike!
Oh, home run, home run!
Home run!
Yeah! Let's go. Home run for the win. Alright, now let's do Monkey Bowling. Gonna give you lots of power, and we're probably gonna spin you a little bit this way.
Start.
Alright, nice. Oh, wow.
Start.
Looks like I didn't check the oil path there, did I? There we go. Oh, that should be a strike. Come on.
Right.
Yeah, called it. Alright, that's awesome. And this pretty much just plays all the mini games, as far as I remember. Does it work? Yep. And I'll assume it pretty much does all the other games as well, if you were to play. But yeah, that's awesome. And just to kind of prove that it works, I'll show you a USB Loader GX Flash WAD. And believe it or not, it's actually the Windows XP tour. Yeah, I bet you didn't see that coming.
Welcome to Windows.
Yeah, this is it.
Microsoft, the new
We're able to skip the intro and all the other things you can do with Windows XP Tour. You can do that.
easier to learn and use. Windows XP.
And then show the basics as well. You can skip sections too.
Windows.
It's ironic that you have a computer tour on a video game console, which is like peanut butter and jam, if anything. And that's pretty much all I have to show you. I hope you enjoyed this video and tutorial. If there's any trouble, I'll try to help out in the comments section. I also like to thank everyone that you see on screen that helped make this video possible. Their incredible efforts to flash injecting and Wii Homebrew in general are very much worth sharing support on. Thanks for watching. I'm Zodiac Galaxy. Keep on reaching the stars and happy homebrewing.